build a platform or a building block for them to stand on and continue to bring others along. In essence, the concept of lifting as we climb. So all of those things are core principles, foundational pieces, are part of that overall vision.
So you mentioned 4 things. I wrote them down. So academic achievement, competitive excellence, personal development, and social responsibility.
Yes, sir.
Let's dig just a little deeper into you describing what that really means for 2 of them that I'm very interested in. So let's talk about academic achievement. We know that last year before you arrived, I think it was somewhere around May, the university was made aware of our issue with APR for our football and our women's basketball team. Can you tell the alums, since your arrival, what things have you done to help improve that particular situation, and what things have you put into place or you're planning to put in place that will make sure or help to make sure that our athletic department does no longer fall below the APR standards?
Before I get to that, I just want to make sure everyone understands that wonderful acronym APR. Academic Progress Rate is the APR, and it was created by the NCAA, oh man, about 15 years ago, plus or minus, to hold institutions accountable for eligibility standards as well as retention standards. There was a chronic eligibility and retention issue going on at the NCAA Division I level. So they came up with this, in essence, metric to ensure that individuals were handling that academic component. So APR, Academic Progress Rate, is in essence a very simple formula. Every scholarship student athlete, someone who's receiving any type of athletic aid, whether it's $10 or a full scholarship, will be in the cohort of which we evaluate on 2 areas. Eligibility, meaning they hit the minimum eligibility standard to continue to be an eligible student athlete, and retention, retained on the campus semester to semester, year to year. And each student that receives athletic aid will be held accountable for those 2 measures. And it is interesting how we go through the process. Each, in essence, student will count 2 points a semester for 4 points. So you want to retain and have your students remain eligible. And of course, a perfect score is 1,000. And the elite score for NCAA Division I is 985. So that is by team. So each team will be measured as such. So that's just a general overview of APR. I can talk all day about it, but we'd go to sleep. So I want to keep everyone active, but this is one of the things that we look at very much on a day-to-day basis. I have to thank our academic affairs area. We have an internal academic affairs department in athletics led by Narleski Wyrick, and we also have an athletics compliance department that's run by Ms. Brittany Johnson, and they're charged with monitoring and, in essence, keeping us on task with regard to our APR. We have increased our staff of student athlete advisors.
Okay.
So that is one of the things that we've done recently. And we also refined some of our delivery of services, whether it's tutoring, whether it's monitoring the progress week to week, month to month, midterm and final. We've also had a lot of assistance and support from the academic affairs area on campus and student engagement. So it's definitely a university-wide support that we're receiving in a university initiative, because ultimately we want all of our students to have a great opportunity to graduate and again, be educated. So that's in essence what the APR is. We are doing better. Every semester, we'll go and evaluate where we are. The APR scores that you see are always a year behind. So in other words, in the 2021 year, the report will actually come out the following year. It allows for us and other institutions to file for changes or make adjustments to the score based on circumstances that arise during the evaluative period. All those things come into account. So it's a public report. Occasionally, the NCAA will not release the report, but generally speaking, you would be able to see the report. It's a public document, and those of us that are in the industry or are avid followers of intercollegiate athletics would see those numbers and have some ideas to how it works.
Okay, so one of the other pillars you mentioned was competitiveness, and of course, like you said in your summary, everybody, we want to win championships. And I know our alums are very proud, even though we lost the SWAC championship in basketball, but very proud of the young men and women that are student athletes. And we see the championships coming in different sports, and we're very, very proud of that. So in a general sense, what does that look like for your vision of the athletic department and its performance from a competitive side? What does that look like?
I would say, first, we want to be competitive. So part of being competitive leads to championship. So I try to quantify everything such that we'll be able to set a value or a goal to it. So for example, when I say competitive excellence, I expect our team to be in the mix for a championship. And how I define or quantify in the mix for championship, our teams would be in the top third of their conference. So, for simple math's sake, I will move to next year because 12 works a little better than 10.
Yeah,
so currently the Southwestern Athletic Conference has a 10 institution membership, but we're going to 12. We're adding 2 institutions from Florida. So Florida A&M and Bethune-Cookman will join us, I think, officially on July 1st. Somewhere around there, July 1st, August 1st. So we'll have 12 teams. So competitive excellence, quote unquote, would be in that top third of the conference. So we're talking about top 4. And the reason why I select that is because typically in tournament play, you will be in the semifinal round. And we all know when you get to the final 4 of anything, all 4 of those teams are capable of winning a championship. So a case in point, 2 nights ago, I mean, all those teams were capable of winning a championship. And I've said this on record and off record, that it's tough to beat a team 3 times. As a former collegiate basketball player, it's just tough to beat someone 3 times in the same year. And it was interesting. Our guys laid it all on the line. They gave all they could give. And that's all you can ask for sometimes. They gave what they could give. And very proud of their efforts. It's hard to go undefeated in a conference when you have a lot of ups and downs and being stopped and started 2 or 3 or 4 times, and to be undefeated with all of the upheaval and the sudden change is remarkable in and of itself. So that's in essence what I mean by competitive excellence. I mean, competing and winning championships when you're able to do so based on that level. So you start looking at top third, and then if you're there and you're consistently there, you'll win your share of championships. And that is what the standard would be when we talk about that.
Okay. So you almost move right into my next question, which is about, this, where we've been over this last year. We know that because of COVID, we've had so many different changes, socially, everybody has had to make changes in trying to get back to normalcy. So now here you are with, what is it, 18 sports running in spring, all the things that you've had to go through to even have a basketball team performing and all the athletes being able to perform and to do the things that they've been able to do. Can you talk to the alums about, some of those challenges, and how has your team been able to keep things moving forward?
I have to send kudos to our entire team for their resiliency and their ability to deal with sudden change, because every hour is never the same. Anything can happen. Case in point with regard to COVID, we've stopped several times since October, November, due to whether it's actual number of positive tests or just contact tracing. I never realized that one person can shut down an entire team for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever the case might be. And being resilient when that would happen and never giving up, keep pushing forward as we do as Panthers. We always push forward. They did that. We had a lot of help across campus with testing. Student health services and that group really helped the student affairs, the president's office, risk management, you name it. Everyone has stepped up and helped us through the process. Our young people are the most tested core group that you could probably imagine. Case in point, I was in the bubble with basketball, the men's basketball team. We tested every day. Every day, and I think one day it was twice. We tested prior to the game that morning, and then after each contest, we would have to test after the contest to make sure that nothing was being transmitted. So they've been probed and prodded from PCR tests and nasal swabs and you name it, of which to stay safe. And they've done a really good job of that. And kudos to the staff and the medical staff that helped us through that.
So next, this is a question that I know I've heard long before I came to Prairie. So the alums are always interested in knowing, what are we going to do to improve our game day experience? That's the first question. How do we improve, or your plans to improve game day experience? And on top of that, I know my generation, we are very bewildered by the lack of students showing up at football games and basketball games when you have quality performances on the field. Second part of the question is, what are we planning to do to improve our game day experience? And number two, get our students more involved in supporting these athletic events?
I would say, first, marry those two components. Believe it or not, students have a definite impact in the experience, whether directly or indirectly. Case in point, typically students are very energetic, very boisterous and excited, and they bring that energy and ambiance that you desire at an athletics competition. The rowdiness and the loudness and the sounds and the complementary pieces, the band and the cheer group and the dance group, all those things add to the pageantry and the energy that fills a stadium. So you think about student sections across the country, how intimidating they can be for the opposition. All of those things lead to what we ultimately want is a great experience that culminates with victory and education. So that is integral to that part. Student engagement plays a great part in that. Having a focus and someone that takes over that area from an external standpoint, which ties and dovetails nicely with what you asked with regard to the game day experience. That's an external component that we will address as we move into the traditional fall season with our team. I anticipate having individuals in that role that will be the point people for those areas, that we can make those a point of emphasis. Currently, we don't have that particular component that just focuses in that area. But you will see a stark difference just by setting up the structure that will accommodate that. That they will focus on creating that game day atmosphere. From the time that you get out of your vehicles in the parking lot, you will begin that Panthers experience, including the band, the pageantry of swag football and HBCU football, and also the excitement, the efficiency and effective of ingress and egress of facilities, of what the guest services is like. Typically, when you go to places, there's a guest services area or arena that helps you with wayfinding, that helps you with those components. So all of those different areas will be a part of the game day experience. From parking to entering the stadium, the pageantry that occurs, aligned with the student experience, getting them engaged, doing a lot of outreach on campus, getting them to the stadium. And we'll have a very energetic and entertaining environment, and have a great atmosphere that our teams will be motivated to perform because of the energy in the building and in the stadium.
Okay. I don't know what happened. I didn't know if you had messed up or my side messed up. I think it was me while you were talking. So I hope everybody heard what you were saying.
Okay.
All right. So, and I know we were talking earlier before, because when it comes to this whole component of the students, it's a totally different generation of how they interact. And I think I heard it, and I want to make sure everybody else did. How are we going to meet them where they are from a social media perspective? I think you started to say it, but I didn't hear it because my side glitched. So I just want to make sure everybody heard what you were saying. Maybe it was just me. I don't know.
Absolutely. Social media is critical, essential to getting your message out and engaging your constituencies, especially the student group. So having a presence on social media platforms are critical. That is a point of emphasis, and we'll continue to build on that foundation that we have and begin to be extremely active in that space by just sending messages and reminders and having those opportunities to be involved in the game day experience from a student perspective. Those texts to receive prizes or receive special services or whatever the case might be, or some things that we can do to incentivize different groups. Food and T-shirts worked for us when we're in college, Mr. David. So those kinds of things are undefeated for the most part, but then also give them just a great experience to enjoy the college experience. The college experience includes the pageantry of co-curricular and extracurricular activities, which athletics is a part of that whole process. So getting out on campus, myself, our coaches, our student athletes, what we found is that people will go and support people they know or their friends.
Yeah.
They might not know anything about soccer. However, if Billy plays soccer or Joni plays soccer, I know Joni, so I'm going to go and support Joni. And that's where you build a fan base, because if you come and you have a great experience, you're more likely to come back.
Yeah, absolutely. So now we know we got all the spring sports, or all the sports going on this spring.
Yes,
as we keep hearing about the vaccinations of Americans increasing, and as Ruth has said to us, we prepare well in advance for what may be normal, right? And we all are praying that we're back in a normal state come the fall. Is there anything you can share with the alums about this coming fall, scheduling or anything to that regard?
Yes, we plan on we plan on having fall football. So that's the first thing. We're excited about that. We're still tinkering with the schedule. It should come out here no later than April 1st. So in the next couple of weeks, we'll release the schedule with homecoming. Uh, we're excited about that, getting back on that. Of course, there'll be some tweaks with that. However, we will move forward as such. Uh, we're looking forward to having a game day experience like I described earlier.
How are you tweaking with the schedule?
With that, but we'll definitely have more information about schedule, who we're playing, homecoming, and all of that. That's coming soon. So we're anticipating being as close to 100% capacity as possible. We haven't settled on a number. The system actually dictates that. As you know, we have to be in alignment with what's being given to us from that standpoint.
Yep.
But we hope to be as close to 100% as we can be.
Okay. So do you want to make the announcement about the homecoming date?
Sure, I would defer to you since you're the alumni guy.
I'm gonna give it to you. I'm trying to help you out. No, let you announce it.
Let me see, and please correct me. I was not prepared. You teed it up, and now I cannot recall the date. So I'm gonna defer to you because it's November. I'll say that.
So the date is November the 6th.
November the 6th, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
There we go. So you have the inside scoop. So November 6th, and we're excited. We're excited to get everyone back onto campus. It'll be fun for me, definitely, because it'll be my first homecoming. Going to the University of North Texas, I heard quite a bit about Prairie View's homecoming, and a few of my cousins are alumni, and they said that's the greatest show on earth. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. All right. So we have a group of alums, and again, I'm looking at the names. I know many of the people that are on this call, and they're very engaged and supportive people of this university. So if you could make a request of the alums in any capacity, what would your ask be?
I would say to continue to be supportive as you are. Be open to engaging us in conversation. I like to hear from you. I actually want to get out when Billy goes and visits different areas. I want to be able to do that. So we're going to definitely get that on the calendar. I want to meet you guys in your space and talk about things and really get to know you and your passion for the university. And that fuels me, it fuels us as an athletics program, as well as our student athletes, to build on the tradition and the history and the foundation that you all have set for us to continue to build upon. So that's one critical element of it. I would say we need your help financially. Of course, the pandemic was one thing that really caused us to not be able to get out as much. And it also eliminated a few of the opportunities for us to generate revenue through competition. The fall football season being paused or canceled really impacted our ability to generate revenue. So your financial support is essential to continue to provide the experiences that our student athletes have and the educational opportunities that they also have. So I would ask you to definitely support us financially, and then coming to games and supporting those young people. I mean, they get energized when they see those pom-poms shaking and the band and the energy in the building, whether it's basketball or soccer or tennis or golf or any of the sports. They are energized by that. So you actually impact the game or the competition. Your presence is a positive impact on the experience of our students. So I urge you to be loud, be proud, and come out to support all of our teams.
Okay. All right. So so now's the time if you have any questions, we're gonna open the floor to those questions so that Dr. Reed can respond. I'm gonna look at some of the questions, try to pull the first one. So what are you questioning? Okay, here's one. Okay, I like this one. The question is, how are you making things equal for your women's sports that you have seen or that needs more work on?
As far as the competitive equity or just gender equity, I'll speak to both.
Yeah.
Gender equity is extremely important to me for a variety of reasons, both professional and personal. We are embarking upon a reshape of our rosters, if you will, to make certain that we're providing opportunities for young ladies of which to compete, whether it's expanding rosters or looking at options around sports and those kinds of things. We're always looking for ways to provide those opportunities from a gender equity standpoint. Also looking at the facilities and the coaching staffs, all those different things we consider on a yearly basis to continue to look for ways to provide equity across our athletics department. So that's front of mind for myself as well as our staff.
Okay, so this is from the same person, and I'm not seeing a lot of other questions, so I'm gonna go to their question.
Okay.
Plans in the works to have an athletic parking lot or parking garage closer to the athletic facilities. Now, I know that I'm gonna let you answer that. Go ahead, because I know in the past.
Great question. I'm not sure if there's been discussion about that. One of the things that we are looking at is parking for game day. Mm-hmm. We've had quite a few conversations with Chief Jemison and his staff, the parking services staff, and open dialogue, especially on homecoming and events where we know we'll have a lot of people coming in.
Yeah.
So it's front of mind for all of us, whether it's risk management and those areas. We talk about that all the time. So I anticipate us having something come out, not exactly when tickets come out, but during that time frame when we're starting to prepare for fall, especially for football parking, that is essential for you all as fans and patrons to know.
Okay. So here's a question from our good friend. He says, will you utilize the AD Club more than what it has been used in the past? It seems like it has only been used in name to collect additional funds, but not used for anything else. So you explain to those who don't know the purpose of the AD Club and how do you plan to use it or utilize it more than what it's currently doing?
Yes, we're definitely utilizing it differently. I'm in the process of restructuring the AD Club to make it more of a philanthropic area and also different areas where individuals can choose the level of which they want to engage our program. So it won't just be a transactional piece, it'll